Hey, and welcome to another one of our video sessions about buying or selling a business, or just basic business 101. My name is Dave Parker. This is my business partner of 25 plus years, Grant McQuilkin. And I say that because, through our business time together, our families are great friends. We've been very fortunate. Although there's been ups and downs, we've had good years and not so good years, but still there's some underlying reasons why our partnership has worked out, and there's no apparent reason where it's not going to work out going forward. But if it doesn't, we've got some things in place that we can have a stopgap to where we can discuss that and have people we will pull around us to discuss that. So what we want to do today is talk about how do you buy out your business partner. And so, we've kind of had that discussion before, but we really haven't had a need to have it seriously. Although we got to understand that all partnerships are tough. They all start out with really good, well-meaning people wanting the best things to work out, but it doesn't always work out that right? So expectations are not met. Life deals us all different sorts of hands, and things sometimes are headed to kind of an unhealthy place. So how do I buy out my business partner? That's a question that's not easily answered, but I want you to give it a shot, Grant.
Yeah, well, if you're fortunate, this discussion happens before it gets ugly, right? Like a messy divorce kind of thing. Even in situations that are still amicable, the best solutions come via existing buy-sell agreements, operating agreements, or agreements between partners in the partnership agreement. Unfortunately, this doesn't always happen.
Right.
And the business really changes over years, and you don't update those agreements. It's just it can be a mess, and it grows in isolation, right? The partners are isolated from each other, and their frustration grows, and the pain of that partnership becomes stifling to the business.
Right.
The value of the other partner's interests seems always to be diminished in that partner's eyes.
Right.
And so there's all kinds of issues that come up. And I would just tell you the principle we start off with is getting people in the room who are intermediaries who can speak the truth, make sure that discussions are happening in a constructive way. Being able to sit down with somebody and say, hey, what you said is just not helpful. What you're wanting is not going to be accomplished by what you've just said. And at the same time, constructively suggesting ways that you can structure a buyout or even reconcile at some point. But this doesn't have to be a win-lose situation. Right. If I win, you don't lose. It can be a win-win. You just have to be really, really careful. As you know, when you're looking at buying a partner out, you have to look at what that's going to do to the cash flow of the company.
Right.
And sometimes that violates maybe debt covenants with an existing loan at a bank, and how it's structured may take out your ability to get bonding, for example, in a construction company. There's all kinds of consequences that you have to look at. And so the structure of it is critically important, and how to value it and make sure that it ends up in a positive way for all the parties concerned is super important. And then just, as you have reminded us over the years, is that, employees are important and people are important.
Yes.
And these businesses are not just partners.
It's not about partners.
No, I mean, you got all these employees that depend on the business for their living. And so act in a way as partners that's a good steward of the business that you have built, and a blessing for the employees.
Yeah, and it's going to preserve those families as well.
That's right.
And their livelihood. That's a great. And we're scratching the surface on that. We don't have time to go into a whole lot more. One of the things I was thinking about as you're talking, Grant, is that there's other reasons to kind of think through this in advance. What if a partner gets disabled for some reason?
Yeah.
So we've heard of that. We've seen that happening, and nothing's in place. And so we'd encourage you to think through this in advance, and have at least have some sort of transition plan in place.
Yeah, it could be a buy-sell agreement. It could be even a buy-sell agreement on the death of a partner that's funded with life insurance. There's a ton of ways that you can really, really do this well.
Yeah, and so that brainstorming can happen, right? And so getting in an environment with people who know what they're doing, or at least are willing to listen, and everyone putting in input and brainstorming it, you can come up with some great solutions. And so we'd welcome you to do that with us or another advisor if you know them. And we've really enjoyed this. We like talking about business partnerships because we know that they can work, and we've seen where they don't work.
Yeah.
But we would love for everyone to enjoy a partnership like we've enjoyed through the years. So thanks for joining us today. We'll look forward to hearing from you next time.